Hey all, I'm wondering where is it that you, or what do you do to press pause? When the busyness that comes in gets too much and too overwhelming, or just you feel like you're running from one thing to the next. You have one appointment after another, doctor's appointments, whatever that it might be, or just change and transition in life. So today I find myself pressing pause. I've just been feeling kind of this stirring and just this drain within me, within my heart. And so on times like that, I like to come out here to Lewis and Clark Trail. I like to stop here on the bluffs and look out at the river and just be reminded of God, how He draws us. He draws us to that river, to that refreshing water. When I am a deer panting, that He draws me in and He refreshes my soul. And then it causes me to pause and to hear the symphony of birds that are singing around, the bubbling of the river that I can hear way up here. And I even see like little blue fireflies, right? It causes me and reminds me of God's presence and abundance that's all around. So let's talk a little bit more about how we can slow down, connect with God by pressing pause.
I love getting out on the trail. It is just a refreshing breath of air. We are so blessed here in St. Charles County to have so many different places to go and explore. I mean, below here, the Katy Trail that you can go on and ride your bike. But I like this trail because there's hills and there's valleys that are in it, and just offers a variety and just the quiet of being in nature and the sounds of just being in the woods. So I asked you a question. What do you do to press pause? This is our second week that we are going a little bit deeper into this conversation. If last week, Pastor Ben introduced us to what pressing pause actually was looking like. And pressing pause is stepping away from the busyness, from the pressures, from the demands that we have, and it's about drawing closer to God, dwelling with God. Bringing God into our everyday, every moment. It is about connecting and being filled and being renewed in God's presence, being encouraged and guided. It's an intentionality on our part to step away and to make it to that trail, to press pause, to slow down and listen. Pastor Ben also mentioned this theological word called thin spaces. Thin spaces are different for each and every one of us. It might be that yummy cup of coffee that you are drinking, or hitting the trail, or going just for a walk around your neighborhood, or reading a book. Whatever it is where slows you down, brings you in, and connects you to God. You believe Jesus even practiced this rhythm of pressing pause. Here in Luke 5:16, Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Jesus would go up to the mountaintop. He would go out in the nighttime and pray all night long. He would go to the garden, where he would express his anger and his frustration and the suffering, the demands. Jesus felt the demands, the human demands that we also feel. And he would withdraw to go and to be with God, because he knew God was the only one who could strengthen him and fill him up, encourage him, and guide him forward. Lewis and Clark is one of my favorite trails to go on, the Clark part. And I had been telling myself for about 2 months that I was going to make it out to this trail each week. Maybe you've done this too. I'm going to do it. This is going to be the week. I'm going to make it out there. Nothing's going to stop me. 2 months. It took me a while to get out there on that. Different excuses would come up, something that I needed to do and didn't have enough time. It's about a 5-mile loop that you take. So from my house, it takes about 2.5 hours there and back. And you would think that I would have been able to figure out 2.5 hours to step away and to go on the trail. Just didn't seem right. The timing didn't seem right. Several of you after worship, I had conversations where just said, man, this topic of pressing pause has just hit me at the right time here. I just really have needed to hear this as the fall brings in a new rhythm for us. A new rhythm, maybe a busyness of getting the kids off and figuring out what's happening at school and new routines and new rhythms, right? That's scary and it's hard and it's one more thing added on us. Or maybe you might be on the flip side, where you kind of wish something would change, that your day seems to be on a loop of the same kind of thing happening again and again. It's kind of maybe like encountering this. Oh, anybody? That's a pretty good sized snake there, isn't it? Like, I think probably it would be about like this. But yeah, encountering this on your path, on your trail, right? You're going about your day and enjoying the beautiful time, and then this snake just kind of comes along and disrupts you, and you don't know what to do, right? Do you jump, run away? How do you get away from this? You just wait. I don't know. Anybody here a big fan of snakes? Oh, all right, Brenda. Yes. Well, not me. I'm not a big fan, but I didn't back down from this snake. This sneaky snake. Maybe you know the snake. The snake has been around since the beginning. The snake was in the garden, this beautiful garden. You can picture it. Oh, what's in the garden? The beautiful trees and flowers and just the birds singing and no allergies either in this garden. It is perfect. It's perfect. Everything that you could possibly want and need, and most of all, God. God is present. God is dwelling. God is walking in the garden there with you. But something happens. This sneaky snake, right, who is crafty and self-focused, comes along, has a conversation with Eve, planting the seed of deception. The snake says, "Did God really say you must not eat fruit from the trees?" Making her question herself, making her question God. These seeds of deception lead to doubting God. And when we doubt God, right, there becomes a separation between us and God. Not on God's part, but it's on our part that this deception sneaks in. The garden was once a place of joy and of fellowship. And this snake, this changed it. It is now a place of hiding and fear. Oh, there is a thief. There is a thief with sneaky ways that finds its way into our hearts. Although the snake in our own lives might look different, might have different name, but still trying to deceive us. There are the pressures that we were talking about, external pressures of to-dos and things that are demands that are put upon us, maybe a change, a family, a loss that has happened, a new health diagnosis, right? COVID, there are changes that happen to us and we respond to that. But there's also our own internal pressures that we put on ourselves. Perfection, maybe self-doubt, insecurity, self-desires that we have that drain us of our energy, of our excitement, of the joy and life. And Jesus calls us a thief. Jesus talks about this in John 10. So Jesus spoke again, I assure you that I am the gate of the sheep. All who came before me were thieves and outlaws, but the sheep didn't listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and they will go out and they will find pasture. The thief enters only to steal, kill, and destroy. And I came so that they could have life. Indeed, so that they could have life to the fullest. The thief, to steal, kill, and destroy. Those were the motives of the thief in the garden, and those are the motives still of the thief today, and this time right here in this room. And I'm sure all my rationale for not getting out to that trail, I had it all that I needed to do. One more email, one more thing I needed to do, run an errand. But when your son says to you, Mom, man, you've been really busy. I'm surprised you had time to go on this bike ride. It kind of hits you. It takes you back to the conversations that I had been having, to the way I was responding. I wasn't my best self. I wasn't present. And so I began to notice this disconnect from what I was thinking, what I was feeling, and that's the telltale sign of that thief working its way into your heart. I needed to press pause. Maybe that's where you find yourself today. Out of answers, out of options, out of energy, out of patience, out of strength. Maybe you also are trying to hold on to something that is familiar, because everything else just seems so overwhelming. So we research, we look online, right? Quick tip to help us try and get through this. 30 days to find, to renew, to de-stress. We try to solve the situation ourselves. But there's a different way I want to share with you. It's the way of the Good Shepherd. Jesus shares in verse 11-13, I am the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. And when the hired hand sees the wolf coming, he leaves the sheep and runs away. That's because he isn't the shepherd. The sheep aren't really his. So the wolf attacks the sheep and he scatters them. He's only a hired hand, and the sheep don't matter to him. Man, Jesus, he just let it all out. He was calling it out. That hired hand doesn't care. But that good shepherd is willing to go into the danger. That good shepherd is willing to lead the sheep, to give a life. The hired hand doesn't care, and that thief doesn't care either. That thief will leave you. But the good shepherd stays, goes after us, finds us, pulls us back, brings us back in. That's the good shepherd. 14-16, I am the good shepherd. I know my own sheep, and they know me. Just as God knows me and I know God, I give my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that don't belong to this sheep pen, and I must lead them too. They will listen to my voice, and there will be one flock with one shepherd. The good shepherd knows us. He knows you. He knows you. He knows exactly what you're going through and what you're bringing in here, what you left out the door there. The good shepherd. It's a good shepherd. Why? I am. That's God. God has been there from the very beginning. I am the good shepherd who knows us, knows our coming and our going, where we are. The good shepherd allows us to come in and to go out to pasture. Now that's kind of funny, going in and going out. Can you imagine if there were like these pastures of people and we were just kind of grazing and swirling around in there, right? That'd be like, who would be trying to get out of there and climb over the wall? But God knows, gives us free will. That free will there in our lives. So we do have seasons where we're drawing in closer to God, where we're stepping away from God. But the thing is that we're not alone when we step away. We might think we're alone, but we're not alone. We are one with God, that God is with us. Our good shepherd is watching over us, is carrying us through, is looking out for us. We are one with God. But maybe that hasn't been your story. Or maybe you've been seeking for a while and you just haven't found that place of rest, place of peace. Maybe you're wondering, how can you even find it? Because that thief has you hold so tightly. How can you even break free from that thief? But if we remember in verse 15 that the good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. Jesus gave his life for you. There is nothing that you need to do but just receive his love and his grace that is there. His grace that extends to us at all times. All people, no matter what color or gender, what life circumstance, Jesus' love and grace is there and present. The pasture's not meant to hold us captive, but it is meant to, as a place of pause, of renewal. That God created us to be a place with no demands, with no stereotypes, no preconceived judgment. This is a place of rest. This house is a place of rest, where we go to find rest, to be with God. The good shepherd says, I know my sheep and they know me. And when you know the good shepherd, there's something that changes within you. That you begin to discern things differently. You begin to live your life differently. You begin to see things differently, hear things differently, the way we respond differently. It changes us from the inside because you want to make room for Jesus in your life more and more. It's not relying on ourselves, it's relying on God. But the good shepherd, he calls us and he leads us to pasture. This is kind of a rhythm of going in and going out, much like our very breath that we have. It's a slowing down of nourishment, of strength, of renewal. It's listening for the voice of the shepherd, of peace and calm. And it's a recognition of God's grace and love. It's a pause. We encounter lots of things on our journey because that thief robs us and holds us. But the good shepherd restores us, renews us, leads us. Drawing away from the noise, just as Jesus often did, creates a space of rest and breath. Because it's a shedding, it's a letting go. You know, Jesus had to do that too in the garden. His last moments, his prayer going into the garden. He had to give it all. He shedded everything, every last desire that he wanted to hold on to be there with his friends, to be there. He had to let it go. Falling to his knees as we prepare to come for communion as well, to fall to our knees, to let it go, to make room for Jesus to move in our lives. It's a releasing of self. It's a journey of the heart because Jesus loves you. And when you name those things, those heavy hurts, those insecurities, the broken moments, to make room for Jesus, that's when it happens. Jesus steps in, guides us. Because what can that hurt, what can that loneliness do for us? What can those bags do for us that we carry that Jesus can't do? I tell you, one night, in the middle of the night, I had been stirring about just many different things. And I've been trying to solve the problem like we do many times, and I just was coming short of the answer. So I just got up, and I had been listening to the song by Casting Crowns for several days prior, and I just didn't know what else. The house was dark. Everybody was asleep. They were restful and peaceful, but I was stirring. And so I went in, I just sat on the floor, and I listened to the song, and the name of the song is Here's My Heart, Lord. And he sings it again, here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. That's what I wanted most of all. I wanted him to speak to my heart, to help me figure out what is true. And in the midst of hearing that beautiful song, this commercial came on, this video clip came on, scared the bejeebies out of me. This is what it is, The Grudge. And I thought, oh my gosh, if this is what is growing inside of me, I can't have any part of this. I dropped my phone. I was scared to death. I couldn't finish the song. But God was right. That's exactly what I was holding on to, this grudge, and I wasn't letting it go. But guess what? I didn't know how to solve that. I couldn't let it go myself, but Jesus did. Jesus can. Jesus knows how to help us shed that out of ourselves, to release that, to rebuild us back up. And that's what Jesus does. Piece by piece, brick by brick, builds us back up. To be able to release that in his presence and repositioning of the heart and feeling his strength and listening to the truth, reading the scripture that I was able to hold on to and to know, feeling the love of God. And in verse 10, it says it all. I came so they can have life. Indeed, so that they can have life to the fullest. What's your fullest of life look like? What do you dream about? Jesus has come for you. Step in to the fullness of life. Last week, at the end of service, I was convicted by Pastor Ben's message, and I said that I had a challenge for myself, but I hope that anybody else might be interested in trying it as well. This was setting your alarm for 3 times a day to step away from whatever it was that you were doing to be in a moment of prayer. And so I tell you, it was crazy. So my alarm went off, and one time I was back up in the booth. And so I just got up and I just started to pray over each chair and for all of those who are serving in the booth, and just thanking and praising God for them. But also, God, who are you calling to come and be a part of the team as well? And then another time, a Wednesday evening, I forgot my purse. And I ran into Yvonne, and then my alarm went off, and it was 7 o'clock. And you know what happens here at 7 o'clock in the evening on a Wednesday? The house is a-rocking, isn't it? We got choir going. We got praise band here. Oh my gosh, the house is full of music and amazing gifts of people sharing their heart, leading us into worship and praise. And I was just giving thanks to God. Thank you. But also, who are you calling to come and be a part of leading us even more into worship? And then on another day, our worship design team was here as they're thinking about the next series and what it's going to look like. And so I just paused and I just came over and I said, can I just pray with you guys about what's going on here? But then they started to share what was going on their heart. And it was way more than just how things are going to look here next week. And so we prayed. Right? I've totally missed all of those opportunities before had I not set my alarm. It just opened me up. It repositioned my heart. Guess what? I wasn't even thinking about that to-do list or what I needed to do. No, I was there. I was being filled with gratitude of what God is doing and who God is placing and how God is bringing people here, new people into the church. Like, I was so thankful. I began to see Jesus in a deeper and a more profound way. So I encourage you, if you didn't do it last week, maybe you'll try it this week. set your alarm 3 times, 2 times, just one time, just to take that time to pause and to draw closer, to receive God's perspective of how things are going rather than our own bubble that we see things happening in our lives. So at the beginning, I asked a question, what do you do to press pause? And I would like to give you the gift of pause. And this time, I'm just going to kind of guide you in a little bit of a prayer here. This is just a time for you just to reflect. You don't have to do anything. All you need to do is just close your eyes and just listen here as I guide you along. If you can just picture that it's a beautiful day. And the sun is shining and it's cool outside, no more heat. Oh, just the beauty of being outside, feeling the warmth of the sun upon you. And you decide to go out for a walk. Maybe it's a familiar trail, maybe it's around your neighborhood, someplace that you like to go, someplace you've visited. Just how beautiful. Just to go out, to be in the quiet. You can hear the birds singing. That you come to a lookout, and there you can see for miles. What is it that you see out there? Just you in the quiet, but you can feel the presence. You feel the presence of Jesus right beside you. Jesus invites you to sit on a bench, and just to look out and all that you see. And then you share. What do you want to share with Jesus today? Just take a moment. You know, Jesus has heard it all, and he loves you so much. He reminds you that he is the good shepherd, and the good shepherd watches over you all the days of your life. So with a deep breath, you get up from the bench, feeling God's peace is with you, and you head back home. Amen.